Kodandarama. 40 days went by. Mother, Satyanarayana and Aunt Venkamma observed a Diksha for all the 40 days. Jayalakshmi gave birth to a healthy son the day before Sri Ramanavami. This pleased Shastri very much because he was a great devotee of Lord Rama. He decided to give one of the names of Rama to his newborn son. Satyanarayana returned to his childhood activities of fun and play. On the 11th day after the birth of the baby, the parents named the baby Kodandarama. Satya, out of childhood curiosity, wanted to know,
why can't the name be just Rama? Why this word Kodanda?
His mother firmly told him,
should be there.
Satyanarayana loved babies. He developed a special love for Kodandarama since he was his only baby brother. He wanted to hold him and keep him on his lap and play with him. Satyanarayana waited patiently for the first 11 days, and as soon as the naming ceremony was over, he held out his arms in front of his mother, asking to hold the baby.
Please, Mom, may I please hold the baby? I'll be very careful.
Jayalakshmi, for some unknown reason, was very angry. She hid the baby from the eyes of Satya by covering the infant with the free end of her sari.
Please, just for a moment.
You shouldn't touch him. You shouldn't even look at him too closely. You shouldn't even look into his eyes even from a distance until I tell you otherwise.
This hurt young Satya so much that he went to the backyard and cried where nobody could see him. He then went to his Aunt Venkamma begging to hold his baby brother. He promised to her that he would be very careful. For some unknown reason, even his aunt was angry. She instructed him to obey his mother's wishes. It was lucky that his aunt was in muddy, because of which he escaped from getting hit. 20 days went by since the birth of the baby. The summer season special mangoes had just come into the market. Father brought home a basket full of fresh mangoes. He told Satya that the fruits had to be offered to God first, and then the family could have them and share them with friends. He himself had to be away from home the following day because it was the special day of Shankara Jayanti. Shastri had an early supper and went out of town to attend to his duties the next morning. Saraswati was sleeping with her aunt. Varalakshmi was eager to taste the first batch of mangoes and could not get to sleep. Satya sat on a mat near his mother's bed. Mother called Varalakshmi, gave her 2 mangoes and told her,
Varalakshmi, here, take these mangoes. Go sit on the porch and eat them.
Varalakshmi jumped with joy. With fruits in hand, she went out, gesturing to her brother to come join her.
Come on, let us eat.
Satyanarayana ignored her.
What a crazy fellow. When you have a mango in front of you, how can you think of other things?
A tiny lamp was burning in the bedroom. Mother took the baby Kodandarama for Satya to hold. Satya was very happy and showered a lot of kisses on his baby brother. Soon the baby started getting heavier, and so Satyanarayana could not hold him in his arms but lay him on his lap. The baby opened his eyes, but Satya found it difficult to see the brilliance emanating from those eyes. Satyanarayana closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them again, the baby felt much heavier, and the baby had closed his eyes. Not knowing what was happening, Satyanarayana turned to his mother for an explanation.
Kala is born to me as my son,
she said, and went back to lie down on the bed. Satyanarayana glanced at the baby again. The eyes were brighter than the midday sun, and the baby was extremely heavy. He was heavy as a boulder. Satyanarayana experienced a divine energy emanating from the baby's eyes and body. Fearing that he could not withstand the brilliance and the weight of the baby, he turned to his mother again. He did not see his mother or the bed that she was lying on. Instead, he saw a throne bedecked with precious stones. Supreme Mother Rajarajeshwari was seated on it and was casting her benevolent eyes on her beloved son with a pleasant smile on her face. Satyanarayana turned towards the baby. He did not see the baby either. Instead, he saw a massive form which was beyond description. In the place of his baby brother, he saw the Vishwarupa, the universal form of the Lord. This is the form of Parabrahman, wherein he envelops all the known and unknown worlds. This form had no boundaries. Satya observed the 7 worlds above the earth and the 7 worlds below the earth, all 14 worlds as the various parts of the body of the universal form of his brother Kodandarama. He offered his salutations to the feet of the Lord. He observed the 4 quarters. He observed the Vedas, the source of creation. He recognized them to be in the Brahmarandra of this universal form. Experiencing great joy, he shut his eyes so that he can lock that form in his mind. Satyanarayana then saw the same universal form in the tiniest of forms. It was only the size of a thumb. He could see all the 14 worlds in this tiny form as well that he noticed in the universal form. Recognizing it to be the Vamana, he offered his salutations to him. By alternately opening and closing his eyes, he could visualize the universal form and the Vamana form. He saw the Divine Mother still sitting in front of his eyes. When Satyanarayana closed his eyes, the dwarf form had disappeared from his view. When he opened his eyes, the universal form had disappeared from sight. Satyanarayana's mind was traveling at great speed to faraway lands and was crossing several spheres. He traveled from the sphere of the earth to that of water, to that of fire, to that of air and space. He then traveled past the sphere known as Ahankara, which is the thickest layer inside all beings. From there he traveled to the sphere of Mahat. He realized that one must travel beyond all these spheres and fix the wandering mind on the sphere of Mahat. Mahat is beyond the plane of experience of the pairs of opposites in one's life. At last, when he opened his eyes, he saw the baby just as the baby, and his mother that was just his mother. He offered his mental salutations to both. He realized that he was the blessed one to have the rare opportunity of seeing the Divine Mother who was Adi Shakti, Devi Rajarajeshwari herself. She was Prakriti. He had also had the rare chance to see the Supreme Purusha. He knew that the union of Purusha with Prakriti is the cause of creation, sustenance and dissolution. The two who are really beyond form for the sole purpose of being understood by a human, and that too only a child, appeared in these 2 forms. The formless one had taken these forms. Satyanarayana continued to think of the question,
Who am I? Who am I? I know that the Lord is showing great compassion towards me, but I can still see a layer of impurity that is surrounding me. I cannot withstand the sheath. Ganapathy Swami had prophesied that Lord Dattatreya would be born to my mother. I, who am 11 years old, have had divine instruction, have had my initiation, yet I don't have an answer to my question. If I were really Dattatreya, would I still have this layer of ignorance? I would have remembrance of my true nature, that I am Dattatreya. Maybe I'm not the one. This baby brother of mine is perhaps Dattatreya. I think this is the logical answer. The fact that I could visualize the brilliant light in his eyes is proof that this Kodandarama, my brother, is Dattatreya and not I. Jai Dattatreya! Jai Datta Prabhu!
Just then his thoughts were interrupted by the approach of his mother. She took the baby from him and said in a calm voice,
There is no room for any doubt. It is you. Don't have any second thoughts.
How could she read my mind?
Satyanarayana could not understand as to how she could have known what he was thinking just then. But of course, this was not new. He had experienced this before from his mother. Satyanarayana wondered who this baby could be then. What was this glow that he had seen in him? He did not say it aloud, but he still got an answer from his mother. She put the baby in the crib, turned around and said,
He is time, eternity. He has come to take me.
Satyanarayana listened to her without a question. He was not frightened. He was not sorry either. The time was nearly 4 o'clock in the morning. Mother brought Varalakshmi in from the front porch, where she had gone to sleep after eating the mangoes. Jayalakshmi took Satyanarayana to the Anjaneya temple again. She made him take the lotus posture and pressed her hand against his crown once more. He experienced several siddhis entering into him. He started to sweat. After a while he came round to reality. Mother seemed exhausted. She said,
Siddha Sankalpo Bhava.
Satya was in a divine, ecstatic state. He had had the vision of Prakriti and Purusha. He was bestowed with divine knowledge, experience of yoga siddhis. It was a very rare event in anyone's life. It was the most auspicious time to commence the task ahead.